What's cracking, everyone? It's Invisible Walls, episode 110, just a little over a week away from E3 2010. A lot of this show is going to be dedicated to that show. As you probably know if you've been watching or listening to the show, there are big plans afoot here at Game Trailers for E3, not the least of which is the exclusive broadcast of the Microsoft E3 press conference on Spike TV. We'll also be streaming all of the press conferences from E3 live right here on GameTrailers.com. I promise you, my personal commitment to you, the stream will be awesome. You won't have to go, and everyone here right now is like looking out the side of their eyes. But I promise you the stream will be awesome. If any of you guys watched the Hope for Haiti concert that was streamed to like 8 billion people not long ago, that's the same system we're using. It is going to be awesome. It's going to be in HD. So we are going to talk a lot about E3 today, and here to do that is Ryan Stevens.
Yo.
Patrick Morales.
Hey, everyone.
Justin Spear.
Hello.
And a very special guest today, the producer of Game Trailers TV, Jeremy Hoffman, who will be here to talk about our big pre-E3 special on Spike TV.
Hello, everyone.
All right, let's do it. All right, so as you've probably seen, or maybe not, and if not, you should definitely go check it out. We put up our top 10 most anticipated games of E3 2010 this week. I haven't had a chance to look at the comments, guys. How have they been going? Are we getting raked over the coals? Are we...
It's the general, I agree with number 7, 6, and 11.
But not in that order.
These people are blind. Where is King of Fighters 97? I think that was Patrick. Yeah. I was surprised at the amount of people that are dropping their draws that we like a Zelda.
Why?
I think we have there's some younger kids who maybe don't get the lasting appeal of the maybe never even touched a Wii and they've just been playing PS2 360 stuff. But
I still laugh at those jokes.
Zelda games are good.
Yeah, I mean...
Oh, that was a joke.
Have they ever played a Zelda game before?
I don't know. Maybe they got burnt, but I feel like just a lot of people, they don't have the fond memories. There's definitely some nostalgia, but there's also a lot of quality behind Zelda.
Well, Zelda's a lot like Mario. There's so much gameplay variety in a Zelda game, and it's all handled so well, and everything is nailed that you get so much from one game that you wouldn't normally get from other games. Other games is a shooter, it's a driver, it's a fighter.
And I'm personally excited to see how Nintendo is going to use Wii Motion Plus outside of, mini games.
Sure.
So I think it's going to be interesting, or sports games as well from third-party developers, because it's really only been Red Steel 2.
And then will they pull another shocker and show some crazy art style? I mean, who knows? It's just the excitement and the anticipation of the game is driving us crazy. So I think that was kind of a no-brainer in our meeting for this top 10. We all kind of agreed almost unanimously that Zelda was number one. So there really wasn't much argument over that. There was a lot of argument over the other picks, though, and I hate to cannibalize our top 10, but maybe we should just read through these for the sake of those who haven't watched it yet. So at number 10, we had Bulletstorm. Number 9, we had Dead Space 2. At 8, we had Crysis 2. At 7, Castlevania. 6, Portal 2. 5, Gears of War 3. 4, Metal Gear Solid Rising. 3, Batman Arkham Asylum 2. Crickets. 2, The Last Guardian. And as I mentioned, number 1, The Legend of Zelda Wii.
And I not to rehash what we've talked about when we did our anticipated for 2010, but I feel like Castlevania Lords of Shadows is kind of like Game Trailers' dark horse. I feel like we all have a lot of excitement, even though there's probably not the most buzz. Yeah, and it kind of looks like a Gears or God of War game, but I don't know. There's some interesting stuff there.
I mean, let's face it, we're suckers for Castlevania. It's one of those franchises we've been playing for, I don't even know, I've probably been playing it for 2 decades at this point. So I think we all have a soft spot for it. We always have soft spots for those franchises from our childhood. That's definitely one of them. We've hoped before the 3D Castlevania games would be good. They haven't been. So I think it goes back to anticipation. This isn't the list saying we think these are going to be the 10 best games at E3. These are the 10 games that we can't wait to see more of or learn more of.
And I wasn't in the editorial meeting. These are only games that have been announced at this point,
right?
Correct, or at least confirmed.
For instance, Killzone 3, we put this list together quite a while ago. It was sort of officially announced. After that, don't know that it would have made the list anyway.
Yeah,
what do you guys think?
Same with Infamous had the domain registered, and it's like, okay. I mean, I'm sure Bloodworth would probably go to arms for it, but I don't know if it would have qualified on either end.
But do we think Killzone would have made this list even if we had known about it? I think it would have been on the borderline. It probably would have been one of those things.
Bulletstorm barely dug its way in there.
But Bulletstorm at least is. I mean, we don't know a whole lot about Killzone yet.
Well, if you watched Game Trailers TV, produced by Jeremy Hoffman.
True. No, I mean, Bulletstorm is definitely one of my games that I really want to get my hands on.
I mean, that game has impressed us so far with what we've seen of it. It's unique. It's unlike anything we've played before. And again, that's something we really look for when we do these lists, is something that's not sort of been run through the mill. And who knows, Killzone could have a really unique hook. We don't know that yet. But based upon the information we have now, it would have been tough for that game to crack this list. Based upon the screenshots we've seen, of course it's going to look great. The first game, or the last game before this one, looked amazing. So any other games on this list that you guys look back now and you're like, don't know if that should have made it?
I'm personally looking forward to XCOM. There hasn't been much known. I know some outlet did like a little tiny hands-on, but it was...
We were supposed to see it at Judges Week, and it was pulled out of the event at the last minute. So
that's curious.
We did not
it's like
get
a cover story on some magazine right now, I think. But,
maybe that had something to do with it. They didn't say why. They just said they were going to be able to show it.
Obviously, it's not a real-time, or it's not a turn-based squad isometric shooter anymore, but then again, it's also not 1993.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's 2K Marin, and I think they did a pretty good job inheriting BioShock. And it wasn't, they had to work with something that they didn't create outright, and they did a pretty decent job with it. And I think Lightning could probably strike twice for XCOM. There's some talented dudes over there.
I think if there's one game on here that kind of sticks out a little bit for me, it's Crysis 2. Granted, the first Crysis was a technical marvel, but...
Well, speaking of Crysis 2, we're
This
roaching on
Friday
Jeremy
night
Hoffman.
TV. No, I mean, Crysis, we have some footage that we'll have in this week's show.
So
Game
tonight
on
on Game Trailers
tonight
TV.
on GTTV, it's our Crysis 2 episode. We're kicking off E3. I don't want to get it jump too ahead right now, but the game looks really, really good.
Oh yeah, the
Just
visuals
watching
are
it,
amazing.
So, Justin, you saw like a 10-minute demo, right?
Yeah, it's a lot of the stuff that we're actually going to be showing. So
It
Yeah,
just looks.
it does look
the trees look
really
like
nice.
trees, and
Yeah.
that's really hard to pull off when you're downtown. A lot of times, like
Now I'm curious
when
if
you're not in a forest and you want to have. I think we're on Wall Street for this footage, and everything just looks.
So they're not
good.
sprites.
Yeah, it's like they're it looks really good, and I think it's one of those things that people that have been interested in the whole Crysis kind of series that never got to play it on PC because I don't have a $4,000 PC or $3,000 PC. I think I'm excited to play a Crysis game, from the comfort of my console.
your couch.
Yes.
Unless you sit on your old Xbox One.
Ooh,
Yeah.
true.
I'm curious to see if what I saw at Judges Week is the same thing that you guys saw. We can't really discuss that here on the show right now, but afterwards maybe we'll get together and we'll chat and compare notes. But
Yes.
I think if there's one game that for me was kind of borderline, and it is at 8, that would be Crysis 2, as far as my anticipation for the game. Not that it'll be one of the 10 best games at the show, but as far as my excitement level for it. Any other red flags for you guys on this list? Jeremy, you were mentioning that there was a couple things you might want to bring up.
I didn't get to go to. I was a little busy during Judges Week. The one game I really wanted to see was Epic Mickey. I know a couple of you guys in here saw it. Just as the guys in this room know I'm a huge Disney fan in general. And I'm.
Can we show everyone your tattoo?
I don't have a Disney tattoo.
Mickey on your ass.
No Disney tattoo. But I think
It's actually Thumper.
His ass cheeks are
growing up in Southern
his ass
California.
cheeks are just painted black, so it looks like Mickey's ears.
Well, keep away all my secrets, Shane.
Mickey Tramp Stamp.
No, growing up in Southern California,
Actually
being at
goofy.
Disney, going to Disneyland all the time, like I'm really excited to see a more adult Mickey, and that's one of the things I like I said, I didn't see it last week, so I don't know where the expectations are now, but it's one of those games I've been hoping to see.
I'm curious if his idle animation will have as much toot as Sonic did back in the day.
I hope so.
Yeah, I saw the game, but I cannot discuss it until the show starts, so I can't say anything.
Yep, that looks good. Fallout New Vegas. I'm a huge Fallout fan.
Looks like Fallout.
I assume
I
that's
think
why
that's
it wasn't
why it
on the
didn't make
list,
the list.
and I get it. And
I know-
for me, I'm totally excited that it's just like Fallout 3. It's
Obsidian's making it. Who they've had that kind of a spotty track record as of late, but Chris, what's his name? Chris
What are you referring to?
Avalone is working on it, and he's the guy who did New Reno and Fallout 2. So he's definitely coming back home for that. But I'm just hoping they have enough time to make this game. 'Cause,
Yeah, I mean-
when they made KOTOR 2, it's not a bad game, but like they made it in like 9 months, and
Yeah,
it was a little
I mean,
ridiculous.
That's just crazy. In Fallout, they've had more time than that. Obviously, the engine, the system all works, and really it's just about story. So that I get why that's not on the list. Personally, that's on my list, but I understand why that's not on the list.
Do we think we're really going to see Metal Gear Solid Rising?
Yeah, we'll probably see like a 45-minute trailer.
Yeah, they'll
Like,
probably do
I don't
that
know what's
thing.
going on.
That's typically what
it's
they
gonna be
do.
Raiden drinking milk.
But
or
it's going to be
something.
so pretty,
Cooking
and
ice.
I don't know what'll be happening.
It's gonna fall
I'm
through his
be really
robotic jaw.
confused.
Yeah.
I'm a little iffy on if we'll see that one. We better see The Last Guardian. I mean, we've been hyping this game up here on the site for
Actually, I probably would have
Ever.
put Last Guardian at #1. I didn't
For
think
you?
it's worth arguing about, but yeah, that's probably mine.
How come? Over Zelda.
Yeah.
I'm not saying why over Zelda.
I still don't feel like Zelda's going to be something like beyond my means of predicting it. I feel like it'll,
I think there'll be some
I
innovation.
expect Zelda to be great. Like one of the early E3s I went to, they were showing Ocarina of Time. Like, I know this is going to be a great game. I'm not even going to touch it. Like, it's going to be great.
You didn't touch
I'll buy it when it
Ocarina
comes
of
out.
Time?
I'll buy it when it comes out.
You
I
did
was like,
not
this looks
touch
really cool.
Ocarina of
Those
Time.
strategy
No, I
RPGs
didn't until
don't
I
play
bought it.
themselves.
There was nothing like it at the time. How could you
Yeah.
not play it?
Well, they also had this big Pikachu that was shooting out free Pokemon. So.
I actually remember that very well.
Yeah, a guy in a wheelchair got knocked over on like the third day they had to stop. But
Yeah, I actually
I
remember
did
that show.
That was a long time ago, wasn't it?
It was a long time
But
ago.
I take it for granted that Zelda will be awesome, and for me, I could just like wait till the game comes out and then play it. Then
So why Last Guardian are you anticipating it so much?
just what we saw so far looked super awesome. I mean, I love Ico and Shadow of the Colossus, and I expect to love this.
I'd agree.
Yeah, and I guess based on anticipation, there's a
And it- you know,
there's a
it
greater
looks so
unknown
good.
behind Last Guardian versus Zelda.
But all we've seen is a little piece of art for Zelda.
That's true.
That's
but
all that's known.
Well, it'll
We've
be
seen
I'm
3
pretty sure.
trailers
I'm
for
pretty
Last
sure it'll
Guardian.
be a Zelda game.
yeah, that's
So,
true. But
pretty
like
sure.
How do you know
different than
that,
Zelda
though?
could
I
be?
don't know, but I feel like
You're assuming. You're making an assumption.
that's true. I might make an ass out of me and you.
What if someone else assumes
That's a
that...
spelling trick.
It is.
What if someone else assumes that The Last Guardian is going to be just like Ico, where you're just sort of bandying around with this partner the whole time? I mean...
I don't think you'd be able to hold that thing's hand so easily. It's really big.
Well, it could have a
I
leash.
also-
It's really big paw.
I also think though that team has done different games each time, and with Zelda, I mean, I'm playing.
I'm not trying to
here.
denigrate Zelda at all. I mean, I know it's. I feel
think-
like Zelda will be good.
Oh, trust me, I'm hyped beyond all get out for The Last Guardian. But because all I've seen is a piece of art for Zelda, I mean, they've guarded it so closely. I can't help but think that there's going to be something about the game that's going to shock people, blow people away.
It's all live action. FMV.
Digitized.
Yeah.
It's like
Like
Warriors of
Mortal Kombat.
Is that where you
Odyssey.
disappeared to for like 3 months? You were filming all your scenes.
Yes.
I think-
Tingle.
I knew it.
I think the best news about this is that we have this list of 10 awesome games, and this is really just the tip of the iceberg. There's going to be so much at the show that we don't even know about yet, and yet here are 10 awesome games that would be a good list after E3 was over. So it looks like it's going to be a really awesome show, and we can't wait to bring it to you guys. All right, so the big reason Jeremy's here is to talk about the big Game Trailers TV E3 specials that are coming up. We've kind of talked about them in the last couple episodes, but we have the man here straight from the source, Jeremy Hoffman, to run through the next 2 episodes, the next 2 Fridays of Game Trailers TV. Big stuff, Jeremy.
It's getting crazy.
I sounded like Keely right there.
I've had
big stuff, Jeremy.
I've had this my E3 eye twitch going for about a month now. Just with all the stress, but yeah, it's been a lot of work. This Friday night starts off our E3 coverage with Crysis 2, Vanquish gameplay for the first time. We're gonna see a trailer.
Mikami's game for Sega, for those of
Looks
you who don't know.
Crazy.
Our post supervisors in it.
Yes. One of the characters has the same name as one of our guys that work here. What else? We got the Fear 3 gameplay trailer. That looks
It's good.
very different than what I think people might expect, or
Yep.
at least the older games. New Red Faction. I can't say the name yet. You'll have to find out tonight.
Yep.
That you're gonna
Big
be
changes for that.
Big changes. I think you guys are gonna be really surprised with that.
Does
And
stuff
then
still blow up?
there is things blowing up.
That I can
I
confirm.
can
Intriguing.
confirm that. It's you'll see. I can't. I just want to leave.
Is
it
it a
there.
game?
It is a game.
Okay.
There's a character in it. I think Crysis 2. The rest of the show is all about Crysis 2. As we said earlier, the game looks beautiful.
And tons of gameplay in your
tons
show.
of gameplay. All of these things are gameplay. So all of that is gameplay. No CG.
The real deal. So what time is it on tonight?
It
on
will
Spike
be
TV?
on at 12:30 tonight on Spike TV.
Is it actually like 12:40? There's like a little bit of a
I think
delay
it's
with the show.
12:25 this week.
Okay.
There's it's everything. Just TiVo it.
You might want to
Come
tune in.
on, just TiVo it.
You might want to tune in a little early to make
Yeah.
sure you get it from the beginning.
But there's lots of stuff. You don't want to miss anything in the show. Every block has just.
I was surprised what they're letting you show from Crisis. I'll
And
just
what
say
they're,
that.
I mean, we hear, I know a lot of times that we'll do these trailers for a game that you guys haven't heard of, and it's the first CG trailer, and that's just how this industry works. But, with stuff like Red Faction, it's going to be gameplay. Fear is gameplay. Vanquish is gameplay. Crisis is gameplay. Lots of gameplay tonight. And
I think
that's,
another thing you should keep in mind, too, is that a lot of times you guys probably wait for this stuff to go up on the site and don't watch the show. I think for the next 3 weeks, you should watch the show because there's some stuff in the shows that we're not going to be allowed to put online later. So there is incentive for you to make sure that you tune in to these shows as they air on Spike TV. We're not going to be able to put everything up on GT right away.
And the show's in HD. That's obviously, the show's always been in HD, which you guys know, but
There's no
nothing,
flash ads running.
There's nothing better than
No pre-rolls.
I mean, there's just nothing better than watching this footage the way it's meant to be shown,
Yep.
which is
Full screen on your
full
HD
screen,
TV.
HD TV. The Crisis footage we got was like uncompressed from Germany, and it was like 50 gigs. I mean, this is how we get all the stuff so it looks as
Dusky.
good as it could look.
And then next week is the
and
big
that's
dog.
just one night.
That's like
that's
the
one night.
pre-E3 show.
That's just our red carpet coverage.
Yeah.
It's like now we're getting into E3. June 11th at 11, so 11
Different
at 11.
time, 11
Different
p.m.
time, a little bit earlier, hour-long special. If you guys watched our hour-long special last year, we debuted a bunch of games. We showed footage from a bunch of games. This year we have a celebrity guest host, Marissa Miller, America's #1 supermodel, super hot, is coming out. She's a big gamer. I was with her. Well, she plays.
Is she really #1 though? How did they determine that?
Well, she
She had a fight with Kate
Fighting competition?
Moss.
I don't.
Kate
Yeah,
Moss
I
is
don't.
from
she's
Europe.
British.
Nah,
Yeah.
she's not even in the
That's
top
They're going to
10.
why. See,
the regional. They're going to the regional finals.
But I mean, she's like, I would talk to her beforehand, and she definitely plays games. She's a big Gears fan. She was talking to me about the torque bow and getting headshots, so she knows what she's talking about with that. And she's just really
And she's
fun.
freaking hot.
And she's freaking hot. So I don't know what you guys want more than that. I guess we could give
I
you
like
more.
Alessandra actually.
You want more? I mean, we got, we'll have Killzone 3. I could say that. Killzone 3, we do
First ever footage of Killzone
First ever
3.
footage, Killzone 3, looking great. Herman from the Killzone team flew out for this show to visit with us. We did a nice little interview. We've got tons of guys in suits that night. We've got Helghast. We've got Stormtroopers. It's crazy. It's totally nuts.
The show's pretty sweet.
Force Unleashed 2. This is gonna be epic. I don't even want to say what it is, but it's amazing. It's like a mini movie. It's not even. I don't want to call it a trailer because it's not.
That doesn't do it justice.
Doesn't even do it justice. Daniel Kaiser gets on the ice with one of the LA Kings for NHL 11. We're gonna debut some new features. He gets roughed up a little bit.
Can he
Live
skate?
out your
Always fun.
fantasy.
He can skate.
Yeah.
Yep. That's. I sent him an email like 2 months ago. I was like, "Can you skate?" And he knew what I was going with there. Amanda McKay goes and checks out Blur Studios. For those of you that don't know, Blur is the place that makes probably all the badass trailers that you've ever watched.
They do not
like,
make
the
Blur the video game.
Not Blur the video game. Blur the trailer house. They're a CG house that did. What was it? The Tor trailer, the Star Wars Old Republic trailer last year. They did like the Wolverine game. They've done some crazy stuff. We go behind the scenes there to see how many months they literally work on this stuff for months. Full mocap sessions, people on like wire rigging. Like we have all this footage. It's amazing. Pack Attack makes an appearance for some E3 Rivers. I know you guys all like. Pactor, for those of you that don't know, I also work on Pack Attack and Bonus Round, so lots of cool stuff. I want to save some of the secrets for next week, so I can't give
Can we
it
talk
all
about the
away.
audience?
Can we talk? Sure. What do you want to talk about the audience?
There's one there.
Kissy face.
There's
an amazing woman in the audience.
there's some great. We definitely had a cool audience this year.
Eagle eyes will be rewarded.
Yeah, there's some. I don't want to say Easter eggs, but definitely some stuff that we were cracking up about. Just tons of fun stuff. We've been working on this for months now, pretty much. I know we started talking about this about 4 months ago. So
It's been a long road.
yep.
And then after E3, you have the official E3 episode of Game Trailers.
Yeah, we have I'm working on the Microsoft pre-show that I run before the Microsoft press conference as well, and then the E3 show, where we'll be interviewing Sony, Nintendo, Microsoft, kind of making them go head-to-head like we usually do. One of my favorite segments of the year is when Keighley gets the stopwatch and he gives the heads of the companies a minute to justify why they're the best for E3. That's always fun. E3 is always such a crazy time. I hope I have time to go to the show floor this year. There's definitely
I think we're
a couple
all going to be
games.
really busy and
Definitely a
sleep
couple
deprived.
games I want to see, and I don't know if I will be able to have time. But it's a lot of press conferences, tons of coverage this year, guys. I've got 8 editors in the back right now working on our GTTV coverage. For you that don't know, that's about half the editors that work at Game Trailers are working on GTTV stuff right now.
We got big stuff, folks. Definitely don't want to step away. Spike TV, GameTrailers.com, E3 2010.
4 years ago, we faded into the shadows. We thrived. We evolved. Now the time has come for us to step back into the light.
So next we're going to talk about the single player for StarCraft 2. Patrick Morales is here to share his wisdom on it. Now,
Indeed.
He played it.
I did.
how is it?
Well, obviously, StarCraft 2 has a lot to live up to. StarCraft and Brood War were like the hugest RTS games ever. But I think if, playing the beta and what I've played of the single player is any indication of things to come, it's definitely on a good track to being way better than the first. The things that really stick out, first of all, is that there's a huge RPG component to the single player. So you're not only just playing a campaign and then going from mission to mission with maybe a little bit of text in between just to read for flavor. It's much more than that. You'll definitely recall some elements of, like, say, Mass Effect in there, where in between missions you'll be on your ship, and you can talk to people around the ship, kind of gain insight into the story of the characters. But not only that, you can actually actively take up, upgrading your units, and picking out the ones that you want to bring with you to the next mission. You'll get to tweak things like, how they perform, which mercenaries you can take with you. But not only that, you can actually take on missions outside of the main campaign, just to kind of like paint the experience to your liking. Like, say if you meet someone on a planet and you want to help them, then that'll impact your story in a neat little way. Like, they'll join your ship, they'll give you a certain amount of upgrades, etc. I think the way they're doing it is really cool because it's much more than playing an RTS game. Huge storytelling, awesome cinematics that we've come to expect from Blizzard.
CG, I'm
yeah,
assuming.
Definitely. There's a mix. You'll see the really high resolution, like, pre-rendered stuff that they put out as promos, but then also they have this really cool in-game engine that they use for their cinematics too, which they've taken the models from in the really cool cinematics, and they've tweaked them down for
use the
in-game.
models from the CG and just
Yeah.
cut back on the detail a little bit.
Yeah, that's one of the things I really
some
like
polys.
about it, because they worked really closely with the cinematics department in kind of recreating those really cool looking characters in game, and just looking at it play, it looks really cool.
So can you give an example of like a mission other than build a base and destroy the other dudes? I mean,
Yeah, sure. There's this
they
really
expanded on this idea.
Oh, definitely. There's this really cool mission where you'll be on this kind of planet engulfed in lava, and one of the neat hooks about it is that you'll be building your base and you'll be deploying your units out, but maybe every 2 to 3 minutes, like, the ground will completely engulf itself with lava. So you have to time yourself very carefully. You need to build, for a set amount of time, and then when the lava kind of subsides, you need to, like, rush across the map. And then while you're fighting, you need to, like, get up to high ground so that the lava won't, consume.
Were you playing
That
as
sounds like a
Terrans?
nightmare.
Yeah.
Were you
Yeah.
playing as Terrans?
Yes.
So could you have like your buildings hover to avoid the lava, or
You can, yeah. So you'd lift off and float them over into the next kind of island and, like, set it down from there.
Interesting.
So they've built in a lot of cool little mechanics like that. Other things like
Is there any co-op? Can you play the campaign together?
I don't know. From what I've played, it was just single player. But another cool thing they've added into the game are these things called challenges. And basically, I think one of the biggest things for people to kind of tackle when playing a game like StarCraft is that it's hard to play online, right? Mm-hmm. You play these absolutely crazy people online that know the game way better than you. They're adding these things on... Yeah, Koreans. They're adding these things called challenges where basically they'll give you drills to do offline. And these drills, run the gamut of, control group these 5 people together and like move them as one, or like do this and this so that you can attack faster. And they're basically set up so that you can kind of ease yourself into the playing online mentality. And I think that's kind of cool. I mean, that's definitely just expanding it past just,
Not quite as important as making sure the matchmaking is solid.
Yeah,
well,
definitely.
they have pretty. I mean, just from the beta, they have pretty already crazy matchmaking. How many leagues? Like,
I think there's 4. So honestly, StarCraft 2 probably has one of the best matchmaking systems I've seen. It comes lumped in with Battle.net 2.0, which is kind of like their grand, re-envisioning of that free service. Basically, how it works is that you play a match online, and you get to play 5 matches, which will then use those results to kind of put you into a league. So say you win 3 out of 5, then maybe you'd qualify for Silver League. And then that way, whenever you would play someone else, it would be someone from Silver or maybe towards the lower end of Gold, so that you're pretty much matched up appropriately skill-wise. And it's cool because they're also doing it by divisions. So you'll be in a league and a division so that you'll be fighting people kind of close to where you are. So you kind of get a sense of like what the terrain is like competitively,
So I guess the idea is they put you somewhere and you don't feel like you're total shit. And
Exactly.
You don't cry at night.
Yeah, you
can
definitely
win a
won't
few
get matched up
times.
with someone that will obviously steamroll you, and vice versa.
I'll still be crying at night because that's just normal. But
But what happens if in the first 5 matches you're matched up with somebody who's like a pro and he just destroys you? I mean, you may not be that bad at the game, but it looks like you're terrible.
then you'll climb out of the paper league
Yeah.
or whatever, copper.
Yeah,
So you
wood.
shift leagues as you get better. You
Yes.
jump up in leagues.
Yeah, even if you place badly your first few tries, that doesn't mean that you're going to stay there forever.
And what's crazy, you were talking about co-op. It has separate leagues if you want to. If you're like if me and Patrick were like good friends and not bitter
Yeah.
enemies.
If you were.
If only.
we could play two versus two, like
Yeah,
as a team.
there's like
and-
doubles leagues,
and we would
triples
actually
leagues.
grow as like a team and
Yeah.
such.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
When is the game coming out?
Next
there is
Ever?
right?
Yeah, next month, July 22.
when it's done, huh?
It's coming finally.
It's done next month.
Yep.
How many years did they say they've been developing it? I know how
Oh.
long it's been since the first game, but have they honestly been working on the sequel this whole time?
First game was released in 98, I believe.
Yeah,
97,
sounds right.
98. I believe they started working on this after Warcraft 3 Frozen Throne, which was maybe 2004.
No.
It was earlier than
like
that.
02 at the
Really?
latest.
Okay.
Yeah, it was earlier than that.
You were probably thinking of
Frozen
Dota.
Throne, though. Not Reign of Chaos.
Okay.
The expansion to
The
Warcraft.
expansion. I have
was
no
the
clue when the
last-
expansion
yeah.
came out.
So around that time. So I would say maybe like 5-ish years. 5-6 years. Yeah.
But it's looking good.
I'd say so. I mean, if you're an RTS fan, it's obvious you've been playing the beta.
Story seem okay? Because I mean, people actually care about the StarCraft story.
Yeah.
It's
Queen of Blades.
it's a little early to say because as many people know, they're splitting the game up into 3 parts. I don't know how they're all going to play into each other
Well,
story-wise.
from what you played, I
From-
mean, did it seem like super melodramatic, or did it seem like stuff was actually happening?
It's quintessential Blizzard, definitely focusing on the epic moments,
Mm.
these, sweeping battles and these cool characters. So I don't think people would be disappointed in that regard.
Do we have any idea when the other 2 were coming out? They've never said that, right?
Oh,
Is it 5 years between each? Is
13
it-
years from now.
yeah. not
Well,
for some time,
episode
I
3.
imagine. Yeah, they still have, other games like
Yeah.
Cataclysm and Diablo 3 to knock out.
So how big is each one of these sort of pods going to be?
The first game, which we're gonna all be playing next month, is the full game, and then the following 2 games are expansions. So
But I thought it was just a Terran campaign and a mini Protoss campaign.
yeah, well they're both packaged in the same game.
Mm-hmm.
And multiplayer. Right?
Yeah, multiplayer. I think one thing that people are confused about still is that if you buy the Terran campaign, will you only be able to play Terran online? That's not the case. Even if you buy the first game, you'll be able to play all the multiplayer units across all races online.
So this isn't one game split into 3 parts. This is like 3 full games.
Yeah, from what they've been phrasing it as,
To be determined.
it's not exactly sure. But what we do know is that the Terran game, which is what we're gonna get, is gonna be the biggest one, and it's a full size game. You know, you're looking at like 30+ missions, the multiplayer, the challenges. So it's quite a bit to sink your teeth into.
Any word on when our review will be ready for our audience?
Also
Not
when
a
it's done.
TVA.
Comic-Con.
Yeah, but sometime soon, hopefully. Sometime soon.
I wish I could tell you who to trust. You are operating under Alpha Protocol.
Well, Ryan has already introed the game we're going to talk about next. That is, how is that, Ryan?
Alpha Protocol.
Cookie. I don't know what I'm doing. I didn't realize we were rolling.
So you actually,
E3 madness is obviously set in for
It's like space madness.
so you actually didn't review the game for us. Miguel
No,
did.
Miguel
but
is
you have,
on vacation.
But you have played all the way through the game.
Yeah, I did a playthrough.
And what are your impressions? First of all, do you agree with Miguel in his review?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I like the game a little bit more than him, but it's everything he called out is absolutely, correct. If anyone back in the day played like the very first like Deus Ex, the kind of like, why am I shooting these people and not dying? The game has the it has the affordances of an action game. Even though everyone keeps saying RPG, it's on the box. But if you can walk around in real time and shoot motherfuckers, you can in Mass Effect 2. I mean, Mass Effect 2 feels like a decent action game.
You're
I
right,
think.
yeah.
These two dudes, these three dudes can back me up. You can play Mass Effect like you play Gears to a certain degree. Cover system, peek out.
I think it's
take
even
headshots.
better than decent. It's pretty good, The powers. It's
Alpha
all fun.
Protocol. I mean, the second they give you control of your character before you're even shooting and you're just walking around, it feels a little floaty. The animations are bad. There's
Why does he
bugginess.
walk so funny when he's crouched over?
Yeah.
Why does he walk so funny?
Period. Why can't they get a good walking
sock.
animation?
But I appreciate some of like the systems it has. Combat. Like I played it. I know Miguel was going for a more like action oriented. He leveled up his assault rifle so he could be a lot more accurate. I went with heavy stealth and the pistol, so I was just popping guys in the head.
Miguel says under no circumstances use the pistol, right? In the review?
I played the entire game with
Really?
a pistol. But different strokes for different folks. To rhyme things.
And also to give a nod to Gary Coleman. May he rest in peace.
Oh yeah, I can't believe it.
Postal 3 will never be the same. What I kind of appreciated was like the dialogue system. We're given kind of instead of a binary good evil, it's kind of like a trinary. Like you can be suave, professional, or aggressive. And the game actually rewards you with like you actually get these things. They're called perks, but early on in the game, I did all 3 stances to someone, and I got a perk called Testing the Waters. And then another time, I got one called Speaking the Language, where I went. This guy, there's a character who's nuts, who's actually voiced by Nolan North, and of
Who
course,
is it voiced by Nolan?
but it wasn't the main character, and he's nuts. And if you keep just going playing off his ego, you got I got a huge discount with him with buying weapons off of him. So I appreciate these systems, and the way the game responds to your choices is great because there's a lot of and it's not good or evil. It's do you save the single person or do you save the crowd or do you kind of ignore both? You can have different
How would that change the game on down the road?
Oh, I mean, I only did one playthrough, but I mean, you could have totally different. You always have handlers dealing with you. You could have a different handler, and they give you bonuses as well from a game mechanic side. Different people can be dead. There's a whole how much people like you or dislike you, but even having people dislike you can help because it can make them frustrated with you and blurt out information. So it's not like anything's really rewarded. Or not like you're really ever really punished for anything. You can just go your own way, and the story adapts to you. There's no optimal path.
Yeah,
So you
I
get
wish
to
Miguel was
play-
here because I talked briefly to you and Miguel, and it seemed like you had pretty different,
But
story
I mean,
experiences. with-
here's the thing: I'm overlooking the horrible AI, how many times the horrible save system.
I'm just
how many
talking
times
about
I
for
have
the
to
story
reload.
differentiation.
Oh, I mean, the story is also ridiculous. I mean, it gets serious at points, and then a woman with a green beret and suspenders and a bare midriff will come out speaking German and be like,
And then she rapes
"Das, we want to have the sex," and you're like, "What? Okay."
So it's
Okay.
it's this season of 24.
Yeah,
as a
it's,
video
I mean,
game.
I've seen a couple episodes of 24. It's just as ridiculous. It's our country needs oil and weapons, but we can't let the Saudis have them with the North Koreans, especially in South Korea on the moon. You're like, what? Okay.
It sounds like this game is one of those games that's probably a good idea to rent because It sounds like
It's short,
the
too, for an
gameplay's kind of
RPG.
polarizing.
Polarizing is, like, I would say the best word. Like, I would say I kind of suffered through it, and I kind of gamed the system by just, like, min-maxing stealth in the pistol. You can definitely have a very, very frustrating time, especially early on when you're not really sure what's going on.
So I think people need to figure out whether they can tolerate that or not, because if they can tolerate it, then this is a game that they could conceivably play several times over and get a different experience, right?
Yeah, totally. But you just have to. There's not a lot like it, but it's definitely not perfect in any sense of the word. Like, and even if you don't, like, I never leveled up like my like gadget stuff, but I still was able to hack every computer, lockpick every door, stop every alarm, because it's just a mini game, and if you just brute force it enough, you can get through anything.
Would you consider this the next fix for someone who's maybe an old school Kotor fan, or a Mass Effect fan, or a Fallout fan, or a Borderlands fan?
I think a lot of people coming from Mass Effect are going to be really frustrated because the action side of it is
Spoiled, yeah.
But if people are interested in kind of like narrative systems, like we were just talking about Obsidian. This is games made by Obsidian, and it's an original IP. They've been working on it for years. It got delayed. I think people were hoping it'd be a little more polished. Again, I mentioned Chris Avellone, I think's his name, and he got kind of famous for Planescape Torment, which had really interesting conversation systems where it would be like, say yes, no, or if you have a high enough strength, rip this guy's arm off and beat him to death with it. And it's a dialogue option, but nothing was really around like that back then. Mm-hmm. And that filters in here too. There's sometimes where you'll have your 3 dialogue options, and then the 4th will be like, show a piece of evidence or just start attacking and stuff like that. Also, you can sleep with people in this game.
How many girls did you sleep with?
I slept with 3.
Good job.
I think you can sleep with maybe 4 or 5 total. So
Did you catch anything?
That's one more than Mass Effect.
no.
BD was
I got
not a
burnt
part
once.
of the game.
I got burnt once, but it was only gonorrhea.
How you said you want to replay it, or people could replay it?
I'm not gonna have time to replay it, but
how long?
I
is it,
replayed the last mission though.
How long?
It was probably like 12, 13 hours.
Oh, yeah. But with a game that has that many choices that you might want to replay, that's
so
not
yeah,
a
but also
bad-
that's short for an RPG.
No, it's definitely short for an RPG.
Well, so, yeah, you could like finish that in a weekend and just like, oh, I guess I'll do a playthrough of Alpha Protocol. So I wish I was more interested in it because it sounds cool.
It's
but
a little goofy. You have to kind of
the
go.
vibe,
You gotta
yeah.
go with the punches. But I wouldn't completely write it off. Like I said, I definitely liked it a little more than Miguel. I mean, I played it on
How
my
much
own
did you like
time,
it
but-
numerically?
Oh, I don't know. 0.5 more. I don't know.
It's substantial.
But yeah, the action game stuff can really rub you the wrong way.
Worth $60?
Hard to say. I mean, I did it. I was just kind of curious about some stuff, but I don't know. It's for a select amount for fans of the genre. Espionage RPGs.
I'll be borrowing your copy then.
Yeah.
The only thing I can say for sure, Mike, this business will change you.
All right, that's going to do it for episode 110. Special thanks to Jeremy Hoffman for stopping by today and sharing all your knowledge of the big E3 coverage coming up on Spike TV. Really excited for that, Jer.
Thank you. Remember, June 4th, 12:30, June 11th at 11.
I just called you Jer.
You did. I'll let it slide this one time.
Jer
Never again, though. Never again.
So next week is our big pre-E3 show. Like I mentioned last week, we will have a show during E3 week where we really rake over the coals, all 3 of the big publishers after their press conferences. Always our most popular show of the year. Until then, keep on gaming, folks. Invisible Walls is up and out.